there's another former model who's also married to a super-rich Republican monster, Mrs. Rupert Murdoch, Jerry Hall. I wish I knew why I have a recurring dream I'm pinned beneath a giant orange sack of shit. Toss his boxy clown suits on the front lawn. Just tell him I'm leaving you and I'm taking our child. He would be stunned. We have a child?
Bill Maher is at it again, and he isn't holding back. He ripped at Trump and Melania like a child ripping up Christmas presents. Instead of gifts, he's unwrapping their dirty laundry for everyone to see. Buckle up, because this roast is more intense than Trump's fury after a Diet Coke shortage. Before that, subscribe to the channel. We need to expose Trump and show that Democrats will win. Guys, if you thought Maher was done after that opening fire, think again. He set his eyes on an unlikely target, Melania Trump, the First Lady, and let me tell you, Maher did not simply cross the line. He eliminated it entirely. So, what got Maher so worked up over Melania? He seemed to have an issue with her apparent dissatisfaction in the White House. He doesn't buy the whole stand by your man thing. In fact, he believes Melania has more power than she admits. Get this, Maher compared Melania to an old Greek drama. Yes, you heard that correctly. He claimed she could pull a Lysistrata and terminate Trump's presidency by denying him bedroom action.
Getting men to change their destructive ways by threatening to leave them, humiliate them, or cut them off in bed, it's a tale as old as time. In the ancient Greek play Lysistrata, women end a war by denying sex to their men. It was the original Bush doctrine.
Talk about hitting beneath the belt. But wait, things get better. Maher didn't just recommend that Melania leave Trump. Oh no, he had to go one step further. His words were as follows: "You despised his creepy little monkey fingers touching your hand, so kick him to the curb." Ouch, that must sting, Donald. If you thought that was harsh, hold on to your hats. Maher went full vicious, proposing Melania leave Trump for, wait for it, a Mexican man. Can you image Trump's expression if that happened?
And finally, new rule, Melania Trump must do what dozens of buildings around the world have done and take the Trump name off. But maybe if you left him for another man, especially if that man was Mexican.
Maher appears to believe it would cause Trump to implode on his own. That's what I call a political strategy. But Maher wasn't finished yet. He decided to play matchmaker, pairing Melania with another unlikely ally, Rupert Murdoch's wife, Jerry Hall. These two appear to have the potential to form a superhero team, outclassing their super-rich Republican monster husbands. Who knew Maher had a future in reality television concepts?
Because there's another former model who's also married to a super-rich Republican monster, Mrs. Rupert Murdoch, Jerry Hall. Now, I know I'm probably dreaming and Melania isn't going to do any of this, but what if she had someone to do it with? Divorce is always easier in pairs. What if you had a buddy, Melania, and you two have a lot in common? Your husbands are ruining the world.
This is when Maher really twisted the knife. He stated that men like Trump and Murdoch cannot withstand public humiliation and loneliness. He further claimed that cavemen like Trump and Murdoch can't handle one thing: an ego lashing. In Maher's world, Melania leaving Trump would be the equivalent of Superman's kryptonite, but the comic gold did not end there. Maher went full tabloid, picturing the headlines if Melania truly abandoned Trump. Consider this: how Melania lost 200 pounds of flab plastered on the main page. Or how about Melania Oscar de la Hoya, best sex I've ever had? Seriously, who comes up with these stuff? As if that wasn't enough, Maher channeled his inner Us Weekly and created 25 things you don't know about Melania Trump. And let me tell you, these were not your average fluff pieces. He got Melania to say stuff like, "I hope I inspire little girls everywhere to marry for money," and "My Secret Service code name is that poor, poor woman."
I hope I inspire little girls everywhere to marry for money. Oh, that's so sweet. My Secret Service code name is that poor, poor woman.
Talk about putting insult to injury. The most scathing criticism, however, came from Maher, who indicated that Melania's whole function as First Lady was a terrible copy-paste of Michelle Obama's tenure. He even advised that she copy Michelle's list for her own.
I copied this list from Michelle Obama. Well,
That's what I consider a low blow. You've heard Maher's thoughts on Melania, but how about the big guy himself? Trump was not about to avoid Maher's hilarious sights. The comic had a lot to say about the former president's actions, and believe me, it wasn't pleasant. Maher didn't just make fun of Trump, he went for the throat. He painted an image of a man who is so insecure that he can't bear even minor rejection. According to Maher, Trump's entire universe would implode if Melania abandoned him. Could you imagine? A divorce has brought down the self-proclaimed stable genius.
It's not anti-feminist to say that in addition to doing everything men can do intellectually, women also have another power, the power of the ultimatum. Maybe he would implode on his own. Maybe it falls to you now, Melania. You can end this reign of terror, and all you have to do is channel your inner Taylor Swift and walk out the door. Tried to stop Trump and couldn't. Hillary couldn't. Never Trumpers couldn't. Mueller couldn't. Is there anyone left who can check Donald Trump? Yes, Melania.
But Maher did not stop there. He also criticized Trump's physical attractiveness. Remember when Maher said Trump had creepy little monkey fingers when he touched Melania's hand? That was simply an appetizer. He went on to ridicule Trump's fashion taste, referring to his boxy clown suits. I suppose the emperor's new attire isn't impressing everyone. Let us not forget about Trump's ego. Maher argued that Trump is so reliant on Melania's presence that if she leaves, he will be absolutely lost. He suggested that Trump would be startled, asking, "We have a child, talk about a burn." It's as if Maher is claiming Trump is so self-centered that he can't even keep track of his own family.
Melania, the world needs you. President Hellboy has proved to be impervious to facts, reason, shame, and the law. Toss his boxy clown suits on the front lawn. Just tell him, I'm leaving you and I'm taking our child. He would be stunned. We have a child?
But what about the real kicker? Maher contrasted Trump to another contentious figure, Rupert Murdoch. He claimed that these two are accountable for the world's troubles. Can you believe it? Two men appear to hold the fate of the planet in their hands, and according to Maher, they are both extremely wealthy, Republican, and completely awful.
Jerry, you're married to the man who runs Fox News. You're married to the man who made Brexit happen. The man who got Trump elected and keeps his base ignorant. So, girls, you gotta step up. We have tried everything, but the more we resist these two menaces, the stronger they get. They're like the Night King in Game of Thrones.
Maher also wasn't shy in criticizing Trump's relationship with the media. He attacked Trump's obsession with Fox News, implying that the former president is so easily affected by flattery that a few pleasant words from the network can shift his entire mood. It's as if Trump is a weather vane, spinning in whatever direction the Fox News wind blows. Perhaps the most harsh aspect of Maher's roast was his take on Trump's marital history. He joked, "Wives don't leave you, you leave them," insinuating that Trump can't tolerate being the one who gets rejected. It's as if Maher is suggesting Trump's ego is so fragile that he needs to be the one to stop things in order to salvage face. And just when you thought Maher couldn't get any nastier, he released this bombshell. He argued that Melania leaving Trump could really end his reign of terror. Could you imagine? The concept that a single woman might bring down the powerful Trump empire? It's like a political fairy tale, with Melania as the unlikely hero. So Maher unloaded his comic bomb on the Trumps, but what came next? Did Donald and Melania simply lay over and take it? Fat chance. Turning the other cheek is not an option when dealing with the Trumps. These two are like a pair of wounded animals, cornered and ready to attack. Now you may be thinking, surely they can't respond to every little jab, right? Buckle up, Buttercup, for anything is possible with the Trumps. Remember, this is the same person who argued with a teenager on Twitter about Time's Person of the Year. Yes, truly. So what is the deal? Have they fired back yet? For the time being, Camp Trump is quiet, but don't let the silence fool you. It's like the quiet before the storm, and we all know how much Trump enjoys stirring up a storm. Let's face it, Trump isn't exactly known for his thick skin. He's more like an orange balloon. One little prick and he's about to pop. So what is keeping him quiet? Perhaps he's preparing something particularly hot for his next rally. Perhaps he's too busy figuring out how to use Truth Social without having his account suspended. So what about Melania? She's normally as silent as a mime in a library, but who knows? Perhaps Maher's quip about her copying Michelle Obama's homework struck a nerve. We may see her break her quiet with another plagiarized speech. Perhaps she'll just redecorate the White House Christmas decorations again. Nothing says I'm mad like blood red trees, am I correct? But here's the real kicker. What if they actually follow Maher's advice? Imagine waking up to the headline, Melania dumps Trump. Talk about a plot twist. The memes alone would devastate the internet. We'd have Trump tweeting truthing about fake news in all caps faster than you can say covfefe. Now, suppose they do react. What will the consequences be? If Trump goes on one of his famous rants, his diehard supporters will devour it like it was the last Big Mac on earth. They'll be ordering Maher's head on a platter, possibly with a side of freedom fries. But what about the rest of us? It will be like Christmas arrived early. Late night hosts will be scrambling to join in on the action. Writers for Saturday Night Live will be working overtime. It'll be comedic gold, everyone. What if they stay quiet? That's a completely new bucket of worms. Trump's supporters could begin to wonder if their fearless leader has lost his mojo. Has the big bad wolf ran out of huffs and puffs? Or is he simply biding his time, preparing to unleash a biblical scale tweet storm? Whatever happens, one thing is certain, this is far from over. The Trumps may be down, but they're never out. They resemble the inflatable clowns you used to punch as a kid. Regardless of how hard you beat them, they just keep bouncing back up, grinning that awful smile. You might be wondering, is Maher the only comedian taking shots at the Trumps? Well, let me inform you that he is not alone in his comedic jihad, but there's something unique about Maher's roasts that distinguishes him from the pack. Sure, late night hosts like Colbert and Fallon are throwing Trump jokes around like candy at a parade. What about Maher? He isn't just throwing jabs, he's launching comic missiles. Other comedians may pull their punches, but Maher always goes for the knockout. What makes Maher's roasts so effective? It's as if he holds a PhD in Trumpology. He doesn't simply mock Trump's hair and tweets. No, Maher delves deep, attacking Trump where it really hurts. His ego. Remember what he said? Your unhappiness is evident. You despised his creepy little monkey fingers touching your hand.
You know you wanna. Your unhappiness is obvious. You despise his creepy little monkey fingers touching your hand. So kick him to the curb. Slap away that hand for good. No more public embarrassment.
That's not a joke. It's a surgical attack against Trump's self-image. But here's where Maher truly shines. He doesn't just target Trump. He brings the entire family into it. Nobody is safe from Maher's hilarious crosshairs. Even Melania, Ivanka, and poor Barron, it's like he's playing whack-a-mole with the whole Trump family. And let's talk about Melania's material. While other comedians may avoid the First Lady, Maher comes in like a bull in a china shop. He has Melania saying stuff like, I hope I inspire little girls everywhere to marry for money, and my Secret Service code name is that poor woman. It's violent, brutal, and precisely what his audience is searching for. But Maher isn't just about delivering low punches. He has a talent for combining highbrow references with filthy comedy. For example, when discussing Melania's refusal to have sex with Trump, he referenced the ancient Greek drama Lysistrata. Who else has compared Trump's marriage to classic literature? It's as if he's mixing up a comic cocktail, 2-part satire, 1-part history lesson, and a splash of shock value. Some could claim Maher goes too far. They might claim that he's pushing boundaries that other comedians won't, but that's precisely what makes his roast so effective. In a world where Trump jokes are plentiful, Maher's willingness to push the edge sets him apart. Let's not forget about Maher's delivery. He isn't just reciting jokes from a teleprompter. When he speaks about Trump, you can almost see the vitriol oozing from his lips. It's as if he has a personal vendetta against the individual, and you know what? His audience eats it up. So while other comedians may be content to mock Trump's tweets or his hair, Maher is out here creating comic WMDs. He's not only trying to make you laugh, he's also attempting to make you think, and perhaps he is hoping that his comments will make a difference. So Maher launched his comic bomb on the Trumps, but what happens after the dust settles? Let's take a look at the aftermath of the roast-pocalypse. You'd think after all these years, people would be sick of Trump jokes, but no, Maher's criticism is spreading like wildfire on social media. It's as if he lighted a match and the entire internet caught fire. People are sharing videos quicker than Trump can tweet. Oh, wait, he can't do that anymore, right? But here's the real kicker. Maher isn't just making folks laugh, he's making them think. His jokes about Melania leaving Trump, they are more than just punchlines, they are sowing seeds
in people's thoughts. Suddenly, everyone is acting as an armchair marriage counselor for the Trumps. Remember when Maher claimed Melania could make Trump implode on his own if she left him for a Mexican? That isn't just a joke, it's a complete screenplay waiting to happen. People are rushing with it, creating their own fan fiction about Melania's daring escape. It's like a twisted version of Eat, Pray, Love, more like Tweet, Rage, Lose. And let's not forget Maher's claim that if Melania left Trump, he would fall apart. That isn't just his hitting Trump where it hurts, it's also mocking his image as a big, strong man who doesn't need anyone. People are now perceiving Trump as a dependent, clingy man who cannot operate without his wife. Not exactly the stable genius image he's aiming for, is it?
But Trump isn't the only one getting mocked here. Maher's Melania-related jokes are also making an impact. What about her marriage for money? It has gotten people debating about Melania's decisions. Some defend her, while others pile on. In any case, she is no longer the silent first lady. She has joined the conversation.
Every time I look at my husband, I'm reminded of the Slovenian national dish. A fat, greasy sausage filled with cheese. I wish I knew why I have a recurring dream I'm pinned beneath a giant orange sack of shit.
And you know what's truly crazy? Maher's quips have changed people's perceptions of the Trump family as a whole. It's as if he held up a funhouse mirror to them, and we can't get past the twisted image. People are beginning to question if there is more truth to these jokes than we realized. But this is when things become really fascinating. Maher's roast isn't only influencing how people perceive the Trumps now, it may have long-term consequences for their image. Every time Trump attempts to appear tough, people will recall Maher's quips about his creepy little monkey fingers. Every time Melania stands by her boyfriend, people will question whether she is just waiting for the proper time to kick him to the curb. It's as if Maher has planted little humorous landmines in people's thoughts, and they'll keep going off whenever the Trumps make a public appearance. Is Trump trying to rehabilitate his image? Unfortunately, Maher's quips continue to undermine the basis. In the upcoming election, it's crucial to consider the implications of voting for Donald Trump. His tenure has been marred by numerous scandals and controversies that raise serious concerns about his integrity and ability to lead. One glaring example is Trump University, which was exposed as a fraudulent operation that took advantage of unsuspecting students. The so-called university promised education and success in real estate, but delivered none of that, leading to multiple lawsuits and a $25 million settlement. This is just one instance of Trump exploiting people for personal gain, highlighting his disregard for ethical conduct. Moreover, Trump's presidency was characterized by a divisive and chaotic approach to governance. His "Make America Great Again" MAGA slogan, while appealing to some, often masked policies and rhetoric that fostered division and hatred. Under his administration, the country saw a surge in white nationalist activity and an increase in racial tensions. His failure to unequivocally denounce such groups has emboldened them, leading to a more polarized and fractured nation. This divisive rhetoric has not only hurt the social fabric of the country, but also undermined the core values of unity and equality that America stands for. Trump's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic was another significant failure. His repeated downplaying of the virus, promotion of unproven treatments, and reluctance to follow scientific guidelines contributed to unnecessary loss of life and prolonged the crisis. This mishandling showcased his inability to prioritize public health and safety over political and personal interests. The pandemic response highlighted the importance of competent and science-driven leadership, something Trump failed to provide during one of the most critical periods in recent history. Financially, Trump has portrayed himself as a successful businessman, but a closer look at his record tells a different story. His business ventures have included a string of bankruptcies and failed enterprises, indicating poor management and financial instability. These failures suggest that his business acumen is not as robust as he claims, raising doubts about his ability to manage the economy effectively. Furthermore, his tax returns, which he fought hard to keep secret, revealed questionable financial practices and significant debt, further tarnishing his image as a competent businessman. Another major issue is Trump's relationship with truth and transparency. Throughout his presidency, he made numerous false and misleading statements, earning a reputation for dishonesty. His disregard for the truth undermined public trust in government and eroded the integrity of the presidency. A leader who frequently lies and misleads the public cannot be trusted to act in the best interests of the nation. Transparency and honesty are critical components of effective leadership, and Trump's track record in this area is severely lacking. Trump's foreign policy was also fraught with controversy. His approach often alienated allies and emboldened adversaries, leading to a more unstable global environment. His withdrawal from international agreements and organizations such as the Paris Climate Accord and the World Health Organization isolated the United States and diminished its influence on the world stage. These actions not only harmed diplomatic relations but also undermined efforts to address global challenges collaboratively. A president who cannot maintain healthy international relationships risks compromising national security and global stability. Moreover, Trump's policies often favored the wealthy at the expense of the average American. His tax cuts disproportionately benefited the rich and increased the national debt, placing a greater financial burden on future generations. Economic policies should aim to create equitable growth and provide opportunities for all citizens, not just the elite. Trump's economic agenda did little to address income inequality or support the middle and lower classes, highlighting a disconnect from the needs of ordinary Americans. The importance of environmental protection and addressing climate change cannot be overstated, yet Trump's administration rolled back numerous environmental regulations. These actions jeopardize the health of the planet and future generations, prioritizing short-term economic gains over long-term sustainability. A leader who ignores scientific consensus on climate change poses a serious threat to the environment and public health. Effective leadership must balance economic development with environmental stewardship, something Trump consistently failed to do. Voting for Donald Trump means endorsing a candidate with a history of fraud, dishonesty, and divisiveness. His track record as president and businessman shows a pattern of self-interest and mismanagement. The future of the country depends on leaders who prioritize the well-being of all citizens, uphold ethical standards, and unite rather than divide. Trump's presidency has demonstrated that he is not the leader America needs. The nation deserves a president who is committed to truth, justice, and progress for all.